we talk about what keeps you up at night. What are some of the most rewarding things that have happened for you as you're doing this work?
Ira, you want to go?
I had one where there was a lot of conflict between a parent-in-law and a child-in-law, and they both would argue that the other one was more abusive to their spouse/daughter. This would be like a form of, and I finally got them to the point where they sang at the end, "Friends, friends, friends, we will always be." That was the only time that they actually sang a song of victory to me. A lot of times it's small wins. A lot of times it's me helping the family see that we're not really in the lucky sperm club. You know, we don't get along that well. We really need to fake it till we make it or not work together. And so I would say the live happily ever after for conflictual families, that's too rare of an event in my life. I think just to fix little problems are more the way it goes.
Nice. Jeff.
Good question. The majority of clients that come to me, the families that come to me, have some level of conflict, and often it's somewhat to very heated, and that's unfortunate. More and more in recent years, as there's more education out there, forums like this, and Dan Vandervliet's who's on the call, and there's a family business center at Cornell, and Ira ran one in Massachusetts. There's places to go where families are getting educated. And more in the last 7 to 10 years, I'm seeing families reach out before things get crazy, like the restaurant family that I talked about earlier, who reached out to say, everything's great, but we want to avoid, the mess that we saw in our family. So, the most rewarding thing is when families reach out, when everything's going fine, maybe the second generation's just coming in, or maybe first and second generation are going real strong because it's parents and kids and they have a way of working together, but now the third generation is coming in, and they reach out to try to just have the conversations so that they can avoid the typical pitfalls that inevitably arise. So when people do that kind of work early, it's super rewarding. But I've also been in some really, really tough spots with a lot of heavy conflict. Like Ira, I've had to break up fights or get in the middle of two people who are trying to punch each other. And when families like that are able to sit down, take a few deep breaths, really take a look at what's going on, and just sort of listen to each other with some level of respect, and then they find a way to work together, that's just an amazing feeling.
Go ahead, Ira.
I do have to add one problem that gets solved easily, where oftentimes it's one person comes to you first and complains, and you need to say, I work for the good of the family business. I'm not your agent. Even if you sign the checks, there's been numerous times that the person that hired me, I discovered later, was the problem, and sometimes needed to be fired. There was one where there were two brothers, and one was just complaining to me in the beginning how disrespectful the brother is and how unprofessional the brother is. And then when it really came to them talking to each other, the brother who was disrespectful, and he said, you mean I should dress nicer and stop cursing with customers? Yeah. That would solve the problem? Yeah. And they solved the problem that day. He started dressing nicer and stopped cursing. So you never know.